If you're here, chances are you care deeply about making a real difference for students with disabilities, and that's something we're celebrating. Whether you're just starting out, adding a new certification, or coming back to education with a renewed purpose, the NYSTCE Students with Disability exam is a major step in your path. Hi, I'm Amy, and welcome to Everything Teacher Channel. In this video, we'll walk you through everything you need to know about the NYSTCE Students with Disabilities exam, from what the test covers, how it's scored, and what to expect on test day, to study tips that actually work. So if you're ready to take the next step towards supporting diverse learners and building more inclusive classrooms, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. The New York State Teacher Certification Examinations, or NYSTCE Students with Disabilities Field 060 exam, is a key step towards earning your certification if you're planning to work with students with disabilities in New York. The exam is designed for aspiring teachers who want to support students with diverse learning needs in grades 1 through 12 across a variety of instructional strategies. Whether you're pursuing your first certification or adding a special education credential, this test helps demonstrate that you're ready to provide inclusive, supportive, and developmentally appropriate instruction for all learners. The first 15 minutes of the testing appointment is spent on the exam interface tutorial and non-disclosure agreements, and you'll have 3 hours and 15 minutes to complete the exam, comprised of 90 multiple choice questions and 1 constructed response item across 7 competencies. The first competency is Foundations of Special Education, which is 10% of your score. Knowledge of students with disabilities is the second competency that accounts for also 10%. Next up is Assessments and Individual Program Planning at 20%. Totaling at another 10% is the competency titled Strategies for Planning and Managing the Learning Environment and for Providing Behavioral Interventions. The fourth exam competency is Instructional Planning and Delivery to Promote Student Success in the General Curriculum, which makes up about 20% of the test. The fifth competency is Strategies for Teaching Communication Skills, Social Skills, and Functional Living Skills, which is about 10% of your score. The final 20% is made up of Analysis, Synthesis, and Application, where you have to create a written response. Each section is carefully designed to assess your knowledge of the best practices for supporting students with disabilities and to help ensure you're prepared to meet the needs of every learner in your future classroom. Stick around, because next we're going to walk through how the test is formatted and what you can expect on test day. The NYSTCE Students with Disability exam is a computer-based test you can take either at an approved testing center or right from the comfort of your own home with online proctoring, whichever works best for you. Most of the exam, about 80%, is made up of multiple choice questions, which comes out to 90 items. The remaining 20% is 1 constructed response question, where you'll really get to show what you know in a more detailed way. Now, here's the thing. There's no built-in timer for each question, so it's up to you to manage your time wisely. A good pacing strategy is to spend about 135 minutes on multiple choice section and leave 60 minutes for the written response. That breaks down to about 90 seconds per multiple choice question. I know that sounds tight, but practicing this pacing will help a lot. Also, remember that unanswered questions can hurt your scores, so do your best to answer all of them. If you hit a tricky question, just flag it and move on. Return to it once you've gone through the easier ones. That way, you can keep your momentum going and build confidence as you go. When you're answering, take your time reading each question carefully and look out for little details in the answer choices. Rule out any that are clearly off and make an educated guess if you're unsure. There's no penalty for wrong answers, so every guess is a chance to earn more points. Most importantly, knowing the material, especially laws, instructional strategies, IEPs, accommodations, and supports for students with disabilities makes a huge difference. The more familiar you are with those key topics, the better prepared you'll feel walking into test day. As for the written response, here's my advice. Plan out how to use your time. Spend the first 5 to 10 minutes really understanding what the prompt is asking, and jot down a quick outline to organize your thoughts. Then use the next 40 to 45 minutes to write a clear, focused response that answers the question fully with solid examples and professional language. Be sure to leave the last 5 to 10 minutes for a final review. Tighten up any weak spots, check your grammar, and make sure your ideas flow well. Moving forward, we'll talk about how the NYSTCE Students with Disability exam is scored and what kinds of questions to expect so you can go in fully prepared. Let's talk about how the NYSTCE Students with Disability exam is scored and what types of questions you can expect. First, your final score is reported on a scale of 400 to 600, and to pass, you'll need a scaled score of at least 560. That score reflects how many questions you answer correctly. The exam, as mentioned earlier, is mostly composed of standard multiple choice items. Each one presents 4 possible choices, and you'll choose the one that best answers the question. They're designed to test how well you can apply your knowledge of teaching strategies, legal guidelines, assessment practices, and support systems for students with disabilities. The constructive response question on the NYSTCE Students with Disability exam gives you the chance to demonstrate how you would apply your knowledge in a real-life classroom scenario. You'll be presented with a case study or teaching situation involving one or more students with disabilities, and your task will be to analyze the scenario and explain how you would address the student's needs. This includes identifying key concerns, whether academic, behavioral, social, or emotional, and proposing appropriate instructional strategies or accommodations that align with evidence-based strategies and legal requirements, such as IDEA or Section 504. Scorers aren't looking for perfect grammar, but clarity and thoughtful justification are important. Think of this as explaining your professional decisions to a team of fellow educators in a way that's clear, confident, and grounded in best practices. Your response is rated on a scale from 1 to 4 and judged based on how completely you answer the prompt, how accurately you apply relevant knowledge, and how well you support your ideas with logical reasoning and examples. Up next, we'll walk you through what to expect from test day policies so you're not caught off guard by any surprises. Whether you're testing in a center or from home through online proctoring, knowing the rules ahead of time will help you feel calm, prepared, and fully focused on what matters the most: passing the exam. Let's get into the essentials you need to know. Whether you're heading to a test center or testing from home, there are strict rules to follow to ensure a fair experience. First, you must present a valid government-issued photo ID during check-in. Personal items like phones, bags, notes, and food aren't allowed in the testing area. If you are testing remotely, your workspace will be reviewed by a proctor before you begin. During the exam, you're free to take breaks, but the clock keeps ticking, so make sure you use your downtime wisely. Following these policies helps you stay focused and ready to do your best on test day. Next, let's get into each competency of the NYSTCE Students with Disabilities test. We're also going to tackle some practice questions, so put your thinking caps on. The first competency, Foundations of Special Education, is an estimated 11 multiple choice questions in the Students with Disability exam. You'll need to demonstrate understanding of historical and theoretical foundations of special education and how they shape current practice. This includes knowledge of federal and state laws, ethical guidelines, and the roles and responsibilities of educators, families, and related service providers. You'll also need to show your ability to communicate and collaborate effectively, as well as commit to ongoing professional growth. Let's go over a practice question targeting this competency. The knowledge of students with disabilities competency accounts for another 11 multiple choice questions. You must show mastery of how students with disabilities develop across cognitive, social, emotional, physical, and sensory domains, including typical and atypical patterns. This involves understanding characteristics of specific disabilities, their effects on learning and daily living, and how cultural or linguistic diversity influences development, as shown in our next practice question. Assessment and individual program planning is a competency consisting of about 23 questions on the exam. This competency focuses on proper use of assessments for eligibility, IEP development, progress monitoring, and program evaluation. You'll need to know how to choose, administer, and interpret formal and informal tools, as well as use the results to involve stakeholders and make placement or instructional decisions. Let's get into another practice question. The fourth competency in the NYSTCE Students with Disabilities test is a mouthful. Get ready. Strategies for planning and managing the learning environment and for providing behavioral interventions accounts for about 11 questions. You'll be evaluated on your ability to construct safe, accessible learning environments with effective routines and management strategies. This includes creating inclusive spaces, adapting settings, and implementing positive behavioral interventions and crisis prevention as needed. Let's see if you can recall behavioral interventions with another practice round. Still with me? We're at competency number 5. Instructional planning and delivery to promote student success in the general curriculum, with 23 questions in total. This part of the test is all about how you plan and deliver effective instruction that actually works for students with disabilities. You'll be expected to show that you can align your teaching with New York State standards while also meeting the unique needs of individual students. That means differentiating instruction, using assistive tech when appropriate, collaborating with other teachers in inclusive settings, and applying research-based strategies, especially for core subjects like reading, math, and writing. You'll also need to demonstrate how you promote learning habits that support long-term student success. Want to see if you're up to par? Let's examine this next question together. Eleven questions of the multiple choice portion are from the 6th competency, strategies for teaching communication skills, social skills, and functional living skills. You'll demonstrate how to instructionally address communication needs, social interaction, self-advocacy, and vocational and life skills. The focus is on culturally responsive strategies and facilitating transitions from school to adult contexts, as shown in this next practice question. The 7th and final competency is analysis, synthesis, and application. And this is where you'll create your constructive response. Here, you'll be given a scenario or data set and asked to analyze it, interpret assessment results, and recommend evidence-based strategies in areas like reading, writing, math, or behavior. Your goal is to clearly explain your rationale, select appropriate instructional strategies, and connect those strategies to the specific strengths and needs of the student in question. We've already talked about time management strategies for this section earlier, but this is where practice pays off. Use sample prompts and practice tests to fine-tune your writing and make sure you're hitting all the key points: clarity, organization, relevant strategies, and professional language. The more you rehearse, the more confident and polished your response will be on test day. Getting ready for the NYSTCE Students with Disabilities exam can feel like a lot, but trust me, with the right approach, you've got this. First, take time to go through each of the 7 competencies outlined in the New York State Education Department. Really make sure you understand what they're asking, from determining how to support students with IEPs to planning inclusive lessons and using assessment data to guide your decisions. Knowing the why behind what you do in the classroom is just as important as the what. Next, practice like it's the real exam. Try working through full-length practice tests to get a feel for pacing, and don't ignore the questions you get wrong. These are gold mines for growth. When it comes to written response, give yourself a few dry runs. Practice outlining and writing full answers so that you're not caught off guard on test day. If you want a prep plan that's a little more structured and flexible, Study.com has a course made just for this test. It's super user-friendly, lets you study anytime on your schedule, and breaks down tricky concepts into bite-sized sessions. Plus, there are tons of practice questions and videos that make even the most intimidating topics easier to digest. It's a great way to build confidence and stay focused as you get closer to test day. You've made it this far, and that says a lot. You're committed, you care, and you're serious about becoming the kind of educator every student deserves. Although the NYSTCE Students with Disability exam is a large and important step, with the preparation and dedication you've shown, you're absolutely on the right path. Remember, you're not just preparing for a test, you're preparing to change lives. Keep studying, stay focused, and don't be afraid to lean on resources and support around you. You've got what it takes. If this video helped you feel more prepared, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and tap the bell so you don't miss any teacher tips, study strategies, and certification support coming your way. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the classroom.